Welcome back, everyone. This is Talks with Kenny, and here we'll be discussing why the teachers' unions hate parents so much. Teachers' unions to vote on mandatory masking, enemy list, and rejecting the words mother and father. From the Daily Wire. The National Education Association's annual conference is underway, and teachers' unions is voting on calling for a national policy of mandatory masking, creating an enemy list, and rejecting the words mother and father. This brings me back not a documentary, but something I saw about Adolf Hitler. Whoever controls the youth controls the future. And it seems like the teachers' unions want to try to bring themselves at the same level as parents. So I think they're trying to erase that distinction as a way of normalizing the fact that, there's no separation between mother and father. They want to equate parents, us as the parents, as essentially caregivers. So that way they can play, we're caregivers just like your parents are caregivers. So they can try to play like they're the same level of authority. Not with my kid. And this is why I believe school choice is the future of education. I have a video. I'll link it to this video below where I go more in depth on this, but I just want to kind of quickly react to this article. The Chicago conference is clocked full of woke agenda items and progressive language involving issues that would seem to have little to do with proper education of the nation's children. My biggest problem with public school is this. They don't focus on the basic three: reading, writing, and arithmetic. It seems like they just want to indoctrinate our kids into a particular worldview until they're satisfied. Like, hey, like good little activists you'll become. Yes? Like, no. I want my kids to actually be self-sustaining adults, self-reliant adults. They don't need no government, no nothing. They can be able to provide for themselves and do for themselves. The unabashedable leftist organization doesn't seem to recognize its own heterosexual male membership, at least according to one measurement in circulation. The NEA is a social justice union. So the National Education Association is a social justice union. So if I'm a parent that doesn't agree at all with this social justice union stuff. So why should I allow you to teach my kid? This is just indoctrination. This is this dogmatic thinking, this rhetoric where you have to agree with our worldviews or we'll beat you over the head with it. And this is one problem with leftists is that when they have leverage or have power, they're uncompromising. They're like, hey, you're gonna go our way, it's our way or the highway. And then once you as a parent exercise your power to walk away, they wanna scream victim. You brought it to yourself. You just admitted it here that you're a social justice union. And if I don't agree with that, I'm taking my kid out. My kid's still too young, but like homeschooling is a viable option for my family as of right now. Like I'm obviously considering that. Public school is a hell no in my book. I don't know. I don't care what I have to do. I'm not putting my kid in public school if this is what is going to be pushed on my kid. No, thank you. Majority female and transgender non-conforming flock calling to publicly stand in justice defense of abortion and calling abortion limits an attack on students, families, and communities. How is restricting abortion an attack on students, families, and communities? It's only for you activists. It's only for you lefty of the left worldview. Abortion doesn't create families. If the parents practice abortion, the students won't even be there, and there will be no community without the family. Like it's an extension of the tree. The individual comes first, then you have the family, then you have the community, and then after the community, you have the nation. But without the family, you have no community. No adult should be having any sexual conversations of any kind with my children or with our children in general. Their primary job, hey, this is the service you're hired for. Teach my kid reading, writing, arithmetic. Anything outside of that is a no-go zone. That's my job. You let me know if my kids, you let me know. I handle it. Me and my wife will handle that. You stay out of it. You're using your place as an authority to groom my kid into believing these ideologies because kids are very naive. They don't have much experience to really push back against what you're teaching them. They'll take your word for it. They'll believe you in face value, and that's a lot of power to put around your kid. I'm starting to develop trust issues with these teachers because now I think everything has a hidden agenda. Disney come out, they're talking about they have a not so gay agenda. Now these people coming out, like anything with social justice. If I hear social justice in anything, I automatically assume, oh, they're gonna try to push some type of agenda on my kid. They're gonna try to push some type of belief and worldview on my kid. And then these same people will get mad if you as a Christian come out and you start evangelizing. If you start playing their same game and you're starting to but you speak about your worldview, that you start influencing your students, they'll be like, oh no, that's not right. You're not supposed to have no religion in school. But look at this. The end of the day, half the country don't agree with this stuff. The classroom should be neutral. And if that can't happen, school choice, right? This is a win-win for everybody. School choice. You put your school. If you want to keep your kid in public school, you keep your kid in public school. But if you don't want to deal with this woke stuff, you reward schools that don't push this woke stuff. Supply and demand. There's no demand for this. You forcing this. Government using its monopoly to force these ideology on us, and we're supposed to sit there and take it? Hell no. A fourth promotes the language that LGBTQA inclusive, including using birthing parents and non-birthing parents instead of mother and father. One initiative called for spending $140,000 on opposition research about the largest 25 organizations that are actively working to diminish a student's right to honesty in education, freedom of sexual identity, and teachers and autonomy. No to the teachers and autonomy. I don't know what that means. Freedom of sexual identity, there's only two genders. I'm sorry. Like, the definitions I use for male and female are 99% accurate. The other definitions these lefties try to push on us are the most inaccurate distinctions ever, to the point where the person has to announce who they are. While if I look at them and I use the old definition or the traditional, I'm going to use the traditional definition of woman and man, I'm able to correctly identify all 99% chance I'll be right. The lowest is 90%. That's just my theory, right? If you disagree, hey, let me know. NBA are proposals that must be voted on by delegates in order to pass. The NEA has previously been radical in what is passed. In 2019, it voted down a motion to rededicate itself to the pursuit of increased student learning. It voted in favor, meanwhile, of discussions around support for reparations and incorporating the concept of white fragility into the NEA's trainings. Each year, the NBA had previously been public on the NEA websites. It's but abruptly yanked last year's offline after parents noticed that it has voted to approve a resolution to oppose attempts to ban critical race theory and to provide a study that critiques capitalism and other forms of power and oppression, that contradicts teachers' claims that CRT is not taught in schools. It does contradict that, actually. And they keep trying to hide evidence of this. And then this is what frustrates me as a parent. And this is why I believe the groomer label offends the leftists so much, is you're going around, you hiding in secret where we can't see you, where someone can't challenge your ideas. You want to pry on how you're not a groomer then. Because when the adults are in the room, you hide. But when the adults are gone, that's when you feel comfortable being pushing your agenda. If there's nothing wrong with your agenda, you should have it out in the open to be discussed, to be debated, to be challenged. But you don't want to be challenged. You just want to indoctrinate our kids. You want us to leave our kids vulnerable in your hands? Oh, you're crazy. Hell no. And I always like how they always want to criticize capitalism, but they don't criticize other forms of government, such as socialism, communism, Marxism. No, it's always capitalism. Why? Why you guys attack capitalism so much when it frees more people than socialism? You want to talk about power and oppression? Socialism, that's socialism. Communism, Marxism, centralized power. If of all the powers in one entity, there's nothing but power and oppression there. The NEA did not return a request for comment on why the NBAs are no longer public and on the results of any voting. The NEA has previously promoted Sal Aniski rules for radicals, highlighting his passage: "If you have a vast organization, parade it before the enemy. Openly show your power." The NEA is the largest labor group in the U.S. and with more than 3 million members, including First Lady. Test scores have plummeted following teachers' unions demanded school shutdowns. The NEA urges placing less emphasis on test results that measure whether students are learning, and an NEA policy playbook released just before the 2020 election says that the overemphasis on standardized testing has caused considerable collateral damage and focuses instead on racial and social. These people are crazy. You want to take out, and I see this trend coming out in higher education in college too. I remember I saw an article where the Bar Association wants to remove their tests, their LSAT, I believe is the law school test. Like, what's up with the banning of testing? It's like they don't want their methods to be measured and compared to. So that way, I guess they don't want us to be like, hey, you teaching all this stuff has made our kids dumber. No, it hasn't. They want to stay in left. That's one thing I noticed about lefties. They love to stay in the vague, the undefined. They love that little chaotic, unrefined, undefined. That's where they live at. And this is what they're trying to do. They're trying to make sure that there's no way we could track them, find them. So they could always do a plausible deniability. Oh, we're not teaching CRT in our classrooms. But why you yank that CRT curriculum off your website if you weren't teaching? You say, oh no, you just seeing things. They always want to give themselves room to back away when they feel threatened, or when they feel they're losing ground. They could always have like a way out, essentially. Well, that's my thoughts on this. So let me know what you think. Would you be putting your kids through public school? I sure hell not. I am not. If that's what they're teaching, hell no. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Comment, like, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.